Hello there. Welcome to Sumit Academy. I do hope that you have subscribed to my channel. Do subscribe now so that you do not miss out on my previous or future videos. In this video, we shall talk about what is meant by the term disaster. This video will also be useful for your essay paper. Disasters have been mankind's constant, though inconvenient companion since time immemorial. They have been happening for billions of years since the formation of the planet and will continue to happen. Natural disasters continue to strike unabated and without notice and are perceived to be on the increase in their magnitude, complexity, frequency, and economic impact globally. These disasters pose a threat to people, structures, economic assets, and assume disastrous proportions when they occur in areas of dense human habitations. The economic costs are on the rise in alarming proportions, which has increased by a factor of 8 presently as compared to the 1960s. Natural disasters directly impact economies, agriculture, food security, water, sanitation, the environment, and health each year. Therefore, it is one of the single largest concerns for most of the developing nations. This is because 90% of the natural disasters and 95% of the total disaster related deaths occur only in developing countries. Most of the world's worst disasters tend to occur between the area of Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. This area is inhabited by the poorer countries of the world, where the problems of disaster management are unique due to the seemingly competing needs between basic necessities for people and economic progress. Disasters have been classified as per origin into natural or man-made by a high-powered committee chaired by J.C. Pant and grouped into 5 categories based on generic conditions. The first category is water and climate. This includes floods, cyclones, tornadoes and hurricanes, hailstorms, cloudburst, heat wave and cold wave, snow avalanches, droughts, sea erosion, and thunder and lightning. The second category is geological. This includes landslides and mud flows, earthquakes, volcanoes, large fires, dam failures and dam bursts, and mine fires. The third category is biological. This includes epidemics, pest attacks, cattle epidemics, and food poisoning. The fourth category is chemical, industrial, and nuclear. This includes chemical, industrial, and nuclear sabotage and accidents. The fifth and final category is accidental. This includes forest fires, urban fires, mine flooding, oil spill, festival related disasters, electrical disasters, and air, road, and rail accidents. India, due to its geographical location and geological formations, is identified as one of the 6 major disaster-prone countries in the world. Her long coastline, snow-clad high peaks, high mountain ranges, the perennial rivers in the north all combine to add to this problem. The natural hazards are related to climate, water, and geological causes. Besides natural, the other hazards relate to chemical, industrial, nuclear, biological, and accidental disasters. With only 2% of the total geographical area, it has to support 16% of the total world population. Naturally, there is a tremendous pressure on the natural resources which directly or indirectly lead to the occurrence of disasters like floods, droughts, landslides, and earthquakes. Between 1996 and 2001, 2% of national GDP was lost because of natural disasters, and nearly 12% of government revenue was spent on relief, rehabilitation, and reconstruction. 27 states and union territories are prone to these types of hazards. Droughts, flash floods, cyclones, avalanches, landslides brought on by torrential rains, and snowstorms pose the greatest threats. The number of people killed, affected, rendered homeless, and injured by natural disasters indicate that disasters cause a huge loss of life and property, causing severe setback to the development process. Disasters result not only in loss of shelter but also create hardships, lack of food availability, and temporary loss of livelihood and disrupt socio-economic activities. Some of the losses may be redeemable and compensated for through disaster relief and insurance. However, apart from economic dimension, such disturbances have their psychological and social dimensions as well. Disasters can be natural or man-made. Earthquake, cyclone, hailstorm, cloudburst, landslide, soil erosion, snow avalanche, flood, etc. are examples of natural disasters. While fire, epidemics, road, air, rail accidents, and leakages of chemicals and nuclear installation, etc., fall under the category of man-made disasters. Other dangers include frequent summer dust storms, which usually track from north to south, causing extensive property damage in North India and depositing large amounts of dust from arid regions. Hail is also common in parts of India, causing severe damage to standing crops such as rice and wheat. Physical losses added to reconstruction and rehabilitation costs deliver a body blow to the economy of the country. The memories of Gujarat, Latur, and Kashmir earthquakes are still fresh in the minds of the people for heavy damages due to house collapses and heavy loss of human lives. Mankind has made immense progress in science and technology, yet the number of disasters has kept steadily increasing. Completely avoiding disasters may not be possible, but their impact can be managed if interventions are properly planned and executed. General response to a disaster is in terms of relief and rescue operations after the event. The biggest problem with the disasters is the suddenness and swiftness with which they arrive. Hence, in order to reduce the severity of a disaster, the response also has to be equally swift. If we are adequately prepared, it's possible to severely reduce the impact of a disaster through a good understanding of preventive actions as well as having the knowledge of certain life saving tools and techniques, which, when used at the time of disaster, can control the total damage to life and belongings. Let's take a breather here from the doomsday scenario and look at the definitions of disaster. The United Nations defines disaster as a serious disruption of the functioning of a community or a society. Disasters involve widespread human, material, economic, or environmental impacts which exceed the ability of the affected community or society to cope using its own resources. According to the Disaster Management Act 2005, disaster means a catastrophe, mishap, calamity, or grave occurrence in any area arising from natural or man made reasons. By results into substantial loss of life or human suffering or damage to or degradation of the environment and is of such a nature or magnitude as to be beyond the coping capacity of community of the affected area. In general, most disaster events are defined by the need for external assistance. Perhaps one reason for this observation is that the disaster relief agencies are often the only organizations with comprehensive and systematic data. Notably, the decision on which situations require external assistance may differ by country or region. In some situations, it may be a political decision as well. The Center for Research on the Epidemiology of Disasters, CRED, in Brussels, Belgium, defines disaster as a situation or event which overwhelms the local capacity, necessitating a request to a national or international level for external assistance. CRED maintains a database of disaster events from 1900 to the present day. Much of the data is derived from relief groups, including the Red Cross or the Red Crescent Agency. In short, we can say that a disaster is an occurrence disrupting the normal conditions of existence and causing a level of suffering that exceeds the capacity of adjustment of the affected community. The main features of disasters are thus unpredictability, unfamiliarity, speed, urgency, uncertainty, and threat. So, what are the effects of a disaster? A disaster is a sudden calamitous event, loss, destruction, and devastation to life and property. The damage caused by disasters is immeasurable and varies with the geographical location, climate, and the type of Earth's surface and degree of vulnerability. This influences the mental, socio-economic, political, and cultural state of the affected area. Generally, disaster has the following major effects. First, it completely disrupts the normal day-to-day life. Second, it negatively influences the emergency systems. And third, normal needs and processes like food, shelter, health, etc. are affected and deteriorate depending on the intensity and severity of the disaster. Let us now take an overview of some of the terms which are closely associated with disaster and have become synonymous with them. The first is the difference between emergency and disaster. An emergency is a situation generated by the real or imminent occurrence of an event that requires immediate attention of energy resources. An emergency can be responded to using the resources available at hand, implying that there is no need to request external assistance. A disaster, on the other hand, is characterized by impacts that overwhelm the capacities of local responders and place demands on resources which are not available locally. A disaster will likely affect more people and will have more devastating consequences than that of an emergency. An event is declared as a disaster when there is a need for external assistance to cope with its impact. An emergency can turn into a disaster, while a disaster is inherent in an emergency situation if noticed ahead of time. Not all bad results of an emergency will reach the level of disaster. Let us look at a few examples to further clarify the difference between an emergency situation and that brought about by a disaster. A disaster is widespread, regional, or wider. Examples of a disaster may be the consequences of severe weather, such as a hurricane, tornado, or flooding. An economic meltdown followed by a rapid devaluation of currency would be considered a disaster, affecting countless millions of people. On the other hand, let us look at some examples of an emergency situation. Let us say that you are at work and rioting has broken out in the streets outside from an angry mob, which is smashing shop windows and torching cars and buses on fire in protest. It is an emergency and you need to get out safely. Another example would be if you are awakened in the middle of the night as an intruder has just invaded your home in search of valuables. Or worse, your heart is pounding as you realize what is happening and you reach for anything to use as a weapon to protect your home and family. It is an emergency. So, we shall not be far off the mark if we say that disaster is a sudden calamitous event bringing great damage, loss, or destruction, and a sudden or great misfortune or failure. Emergency is as an unforeseen combination of circumstances or the resulting state that calls for immediate action and an urgent need for assistance or relief. A disaster does not have to be preceded by an emergency. A disaster may come on quickly and without warning, but not necessarily so. An asteroid strike to the planet could bring about major disaster without an emergency before it. If we saw the asteroid coming weeks ahead of time, you could say that we had an emergency on our hands. An emergency is a situation which may be an impending crisis and is always something that requires quick or immediate attention. A disaster is a done deal in that the damage is done, while it may leave behind countless emergencies as the damage unfolds into subordinate events which may themselves last for a long time until they are cleared up or written off. Though both emergencies and disasters present situations that demand quick action. One can prepare for emergencies but not disasters. Emergency can be a very small level involving a person having suffered a stroke, whereas disaster is on a much bigger scale and has the potential to cause large scale destruction of life and property. The second associated term is crisis. Crisis is an event that is expected to be an emergency or a disaster. It is also defined as a time of intense difficulty, trouble, or danger. It refers not only to the unexpected but also to a slow build-up of environmental, social, and political factors that affect society. Crisis becomes disaster when it is beyond the coping mechanism of the community. Let's say your whole data center crashes because of a faulty power supply configuration, leaving you with no sales and no customer support. And on top of it, your IT staff threatens to walk out because of unacceptable working conditions. Is that a disaster or a crisis? The IT installation stopping suddenly, causing damage to business, is a disaster. The walkout threat from the IT staff is a crisis. It hasn't happened yet, but you need to make a decision about it. This suddenness, disaster, compared to a situation that develops over time, crisis, distinguishes one from the other. Thus, disaster recovery planning is done before disaster strikes because although you can visualize disaster happening, you don't know when it will happen, so you'd better be ready. On the other hand, crisis management plans are typically made when the crisis has come about. The third synonymous term is hazard. A hazard is a potential threat to disaster. It is perceived as a natural event and its consequences are disaster. Hazard is essentially a pre-disaster situation. They are caused by a change in environment and can be termed as rapid onset hazard, natural ones like earthquake, hurricane, tornado and landslides, or man-made ones like a terrorist attack or a chemical leak or industrial disasters or slow onset hazard, natural ones like famine or drought or man-made ones like political and refugee crisis, conflicts, civil strife and riots. In other words, hazard is an event and disaster is the consequence. But every hazard does not become a disaster. When hazard combines with vulnerability, it becomes a risk. Vulnerability is the extent to which a community structure, services, or environment is likely to be damaged or disrupted by the impact of a hazard. A hazard is that which causes the potential disaster. A hazard is that thing on the floor that causes you to trip over and to break your neck. A hazard is the person who runs across lanes of fast moving traffic. And disaster is what follows when someone tries to avoid hitting the dumb pedestrian and ends up causing a vehicle pileup. A natural or man-made event that threatens to adversely affect human life, property, or activity to the extent of causing a disaster is thus called a hazard. Natural hazards are naturally occurring physical phenomena caused either by rapid or slow onset events which can be geophysical, like earthquakes, landslides, tsunamis, and volcanic activity. Hydrological, like avalanche and floods. Climatological, like extreme temperatures, drought, and forest fires. Meteorological, like cyclones and storms and wave surges. Or biological, like disease epidemics and insect and animal plagues. Technological or man made hazards like complex emergencies or conflicts, famine, displaced populations, industrial accidents, and transport accidents are events that are caused by humans and occur in or close to human settlements. This can include environmental degradation, pollution, and accidents. A related term brought above is vulnerability. Vulnerability means the potential to be harmed. Vulnerability to natural hazards is thus the potential to be harmed by natural hazards. Some people and places are more vulnerable to certain hazards than other people and places. Vulnerability is thus the inability to resist a hazard or to respond when a disaster has occurred. For instance, people who live on plains are more vulnerable to floods than people who live higher up. In actual fact, vulnerability depends on several factors such as people's age and state of health, local, environmental, and sanitary conditions, as well as on the quality and state of local buildings and their location with respect to any hazards. Families with low incomes often live in high risk areas around cities because they can't afford to live in safer and more expensive places. This is what we call economic vulnerability. Similarly, a wooden house is sometimes less likely to collapse in an earthquake, but it may be more vulnerable in the event of a fire or a hurricane. This is what we call physical vulnerability. Counteracting vulnerability requires reducing the impact of the hazard itself where possible through mitigation, prediction, warning, and preparedness. Building capacities to withstand and cope with hazards, and tackling the root causes of vulnerability, such as poverty, poor governance, discrimination, inequality, and inadequate access to resources and livelihoods. Physical, economic, social, and political factors determine people's level of vulnerability and the extent of their capacity to resist, cope with, and recover from hazards. Clearly, poverty is a major contributor to vulnerability. Poor people are more likely to live and work in areas exposed to potential hazards, while they are less likely to have the resources to cope when a disaster strikes. In richer countries, people usually have a greater capacity to resist the impact of a hazard. They tend to be better protected from hazards and have preparedness systems in place. Secure livelihoods and higher incomes increase resilience and enable people to recover more quickly from a hazard. What human actions can increase our vulnerability? Well, there are several situations that can increase our vulnerability to disasters. One example is when people cut down too many trees at a faster pace than nature can replace them. This is what we call deforestation. It increases the vulnerability of many communities to rain, which, when they fall on unprotected soil, cause mudslides, landslides, floods, and avalanches. Building homes in high risk places makes us more vulnerable. For instance, if you live too close to a river and people have been throwing garbage into it so that the water cannot flow on through, you will be more vulnerable to floods. Do remember, a well informed and well organized community that meets to talk about what they are going to do about the natural hazards is less vulnerable than a community that is unaware of them. Well, that's all from me in this video. This video is based on the information freely available on the internet. No originality is claimed for the same. I express my gratitude to all the websites for the information carried by them. The intention of this video is only to prepare candidates for answering examination questions on the subject. I do hope that you like this video. Do subscribe to my channel now so that you do not miss out on my previous or future videos. Till later then, cheerio.